Welcome back, everyone. It is Thursday, January 2nd in the NBA. My three best bets are on the way. If you are new, my name's Austin from Calling Our Shot. As always, before we dive into our picks, we dive into a recap of how we did yesterday. It was a 1-1 and technically one day, if you will. We had Bam Adebayo to get a double-double. Talk about a miracle. Not exactly how we drew it up, as he got 10 assists for his second 10-plus category, but we'll take it. He ended one rebound away from the triple-double. We'll certainly take that luck there. Sabonis was a bad read on my end. I'll take the comments. It is what it is. Bad read. We're allowed to have a bad read here and there. Sabonis was one of them. And then Jalen Johnson was a late scratch. He ended up popping up on the injury report, did not play. So a 1-on-1 day, it was a little bit of juice. I am not too worried about it. But we'll take 1-on-1 days and we'll take some 2-on-1 days. We'll take a sweep here and there. We have a lot more winning days than losing days. We're going to dive into today's picks in just one moment. Just appreciate you guys for tuning in 2025. I hope you guys had a great New Year's. I talked about yesterday's video. If you missed it, I encourage you to go check that out. We recapped how we did betting wise in 2024, as well as views and the call on our shot as a whole. So appreciate you guys again for all the love, but you guys came in for some picks. Let's dive in. A reminder, I am still sick. If you're curious, ear infection, that is what we were dealing with. But hey, we're going to push on. Let's hope to I don't know if we want to say stay sick because we've been dialed in when we've been sick, but either way, first pick of the day, Jaylen Brown over 22.5 points, minus 105 on DraftKings is my first play of the day. As always, the picks will be scrolling down below at the bottom of the screen. As I talk about more and more picks, I'll add them to the ticker down below. Now, Jaylen Brown, first pick of the day. He's facing the Timberwolves on the road, short spread. The Celtics are only, I think, 4-point favorites now. So it expects to be a pretty tight game, maybe a defensive game, but I like Jaylen Brown's matchup. Now, before I even dive into the numbers behind the play, I want to talk first about how I feel this game goes and how the Timberwolves play defense. They are a very good spot-up defense, and we'll show that in some stats in a second. But what they do is stay home on spot-up shooters and instead force your number one or two guys, the guys that have the ball in their hands, to beat them against their elite perimeter defenders. Talk about guys like Jaden McDaniels, Anthony Edwards, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. The list goes on and on. So you see high usage guys like Jaylen Brown and like Jason Tatum have pretty good usage and typically score pretty well against the Minnesota Timberwolves because their usage is up. And you'll see that because we look at Jaylen Brown in his last 9 games versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's over in all 9 of them. In fact, he's hit the over in all 9, 25 or more points in every single one of those games. Now, you look at more recently, he had 29 points against them on November 24th. That was the game he started off scorching hot from 7 threes. Do I expect him to make 7 threes again? Probably not. But again, the volume has been there. We're talking about 15 or more shots in all these games, 18, 20-plus shots in a lot of the games. I expect the volume to be pretty good. Looking at him on the year, he's averaging 24.4 points per game over this line at 64% a game. So pretty good hit rate there. When he gets volume, too, you normally see him play pretty well. So if you just sort him by volume in games where he shoots 15 or more times, talking about an 82% hit rate. Now, we don't normally just like to bet on hit rates. It's normally not how you win money in the NBA, but obviously more shots are good for us. If you look at how he is done and where he scores, again, not the highest, best matchup in terms of, great percentiles here. But again, this is a very good defensive team. What I really want to highlight is that spot up shooting where they rank 4th. So they've been a really good team at limiting those spot up shots. And don't believe me, just go to catch and shoot. You'll see teams with catch and shoot opportunities, Timberwolves, 4th fewest. And who does that hurt the most? Not really a guy like Jaylen Brown. 14% of his points come via spot ups. We're talking about guys like Derek White, where that's 39%. Talking about guys like, where is he? Drew Holiday, 31%. Even Kristaps is kind of up here, 12%. But again, post up is another bad spot here. So again, I think this is a really good spot to back Jaylen Brown. So I really like his over in points at 22.5. I went back and forth on trying to decide between him and Jason Tatum. I think it's a good spot for both of them. End up going Jaylen Brown, the lower line here. The usage typically is not a huge difference between these two guys. So JB is making some points. My last note is I feel like he does take this spot a little bit more seriously against Anthony Edwards, who likely guards him. Him and Ant-Man are both from Atlanta, Georgia. So I feel like the guys that play the same position, shooting guard from the same town, they're typically trying to step up and prove they're the best shooting guard from their town. So I think Jaylen Brown takes this game a little bit more seriously. Really like his over in points tonight. My second play is going to be an assist prop. Joel Embiid over 3.5 assists, minus 110 on BetMGM. Now, Joel Embiid got the day off yesterday against the Sacramento Kings. Sixers lost. He appears to be back in the lineup tonight against the Golden State Warriors. Now, before we dive into any of the numbers, why I like this play, I do want to talk about just the matchup. We're talking about the Warriors, a team that let's be honest, they don't have a good matchup for Joel Embiid. Trace Jackson Davis probably starts, but he can't really guard him. Draymond, sure, put him on there. Let's see what happens. And then Kevon Looney, not really a great spot to match up against Joel Embiid. So instead of matching up against him, I think we see some double teams go his way. So I can love this over an assist for Joel Embiid, who I think he does get some double teams, forces a kick out to some of the shooters. And we've seen Joel Embiid, if you look at him on the season, not the best hit rate. I mean, over in 6 of 11. Now, that does include a couple games like this game where he plays 14 minutes, got ejected in that one, and even includes a game he hit the over and only played 17 minutes. So, really, 6 of 10, if you will. Obviously, if you were to go back to last year, you'd see he was over in 70% of games right here. It's a different team, but same sort of a game plan. Is he's a pretty good passer. We know that. You look at the Warriors, third most assists per game allowed to centers, so pretty good spot here. And again, as we just talked about the Timberwolves, they are really good at limiting spot up shooters. What are the Warriors not great at? Giving up catch and shoot. So 28.3 in terms of makes, third most catch and shoot, made threes allowed. And we think about, if I'm the Warriors, I would love to turn the Sixers into a three-point shooting team. Why? Because if you rank these teams by three-point percentage, you look at this, they are 24th in three-point shooting. So again, this is not a very good shooting Sixers team. They have guys out there like Caleb Martin who are not reliable to making shots. So, hey, make them make those shots. So again, I think Joel Embiid's going to get a lot of potential assists. Let's hope his teammates are at least making some shots for us. I think he has a lot of opportunities tonight. So I really like his over and assists at 3.5. His points line is 28.5. Don't hate it. But again, I think he's going to see a lot of double teams. If he wants to dish it down low to some guys for some easy cuts and lay-ins and stuff, that would be ideal. But again, I think he gets a lot of potential assists. I really like the over and assist tonight at 3.5, my second play of the day. My third play is actually going to be another assist prop. And I don't normally do 2 assist props in one day. We've done it once before, and it worked. Technically, one of them was an under. But I really like this spot here for this guy. It's going to be the guy on the thumbnail, a guy that just turned 40 years old. It's LeBron James, over 8.5 assists, minus 120 on BetMGM. Now, the last time the Lakers played was the game we backed Austin Reeves over an assist. It was over 5.5, barely minus money, minus 104. He went out there and got 10 assists. Now the books have caught on. He's up to 6.5 at minus 120 or more. Everyone's jumping on the Reeves train, saying, oh, Austin Reeves, near the point guard, blah, blah, blah. I think this has opened some value on LeBron James. When people zig, we zag. Everyone's going in on the Reeves train. Now is the perfect time to hop back in on LeBron James to get those assists. Now, sure, is this a higher line than the 6.5 Reeves has? Yes, but this LeBron James, who I'm really confident can get the job done here and absolutely crush this line. Maybe even get a double-double, get 10-plus assists, whatnot. I really like this matchup for LeBron James as he faces the Blazers tonight. Now, let's talk about LeBron, who on the season is averaging 8.9 assists per game. Pretty solid. Now, the hit rate, 14 to 29, not ideal, but that's okay because we need to talk about some matchups and how things have changed. Now, I'm going to eliminate some of these games and go to November 8th. Austin, why are we going to November 8th? This was the day D'Angelo Russell was moved to the bench. And when you did that, you saw just Reeves and LeBron in the starting lineup as playmakers, D'Lo coming off the bench. Since then, we've seen him average 9.5 assists per game, over an 11 of 21. So still not the best hit rate here. However, let's talk about this schematically. When we've seen LeBron James, when we've seen D'Lo move to the bench, who did that help more? In my opinion, it helped the Reeves more because Reeves became the secondary playmaker in the starting lineup instead of being the third. So I think it helped the Reeves a lot more instead of helping LeBron. Sure, LeBron no longer had D'Lo to worry about, but when D'Lo came in off the bench, he was going with LeBron. So we saw LeBron on the court with 2 playmakers all the times. You had LeBron and D'Lo or LeBron and Reeves on the court all 48 minutes. Well, not 48 because LeBron's not playing 48, but you get what I mean. Every single minute LeBron played, he was basically out there with 2 ball handlers. Now that is not the case because when Reeves goes off the court, LeBron's on there as the only playmaker. And then when LeBron goes off, it's Reeves. So obviously helps Reeves too. But again, I think this is a good spot where we see a better uptick in LeBron's assist chances than he has been doing recently. Now, you dive back into this. You saw that last game without D'Lo, only 7 assists. What happened? 19 potential assists. You should see that small little potential assist marker, 19. So again, a lot of potential assists. Doesn't really cut it. But I think this is reasonable to project LeBron to be pretty consistent and having a bunch of potential assists. I mean, heck, he's been averaging over 16 potential assists during these games. And we look at, what happens when he gets 14 potential assists, which I think is a pretty safe number. You see the numbers. He averages 10 assists, going over in 13 of 20. Again, if we think about the matchup here, the Blazers, 23rd in assists per game, 28th in defensive rating. So a pretty bad defensive rating team. If you look at the LeBron, when he gets 14 potential assists and faces teams in the bottom half of the league in defense, pretty good hit rate, 9 of 11. Then you look at, if you were to remove that and look at teams in the bottom 15 of assists allowed, again, a very good hit rate here. So I really think there's some value in backing LeBron James now. I think all the value that was off of his prop, he had no value. He was out of a 9.5 plus assist line, has all shifted to Austin Reeves. The value has come over back to LeBron. So I really like LeBron here. This is a Blazers team that is not good defensively. A higher total here. Lakers are almost double-digit favorites, so they are expected to score some points here. And I think they come off assists from LeBron. This is also a Blazers team that I feel like has some decent matchups for LeBron, like Tumani Kamara, Denny Avdia, things like that. So maybe LeBron doesn't score as much, but he can easily drive, see AD cut and throw him a lob, or kick it out to some shooters. Now have DFS and other guys playing a little bit more minutes instead of D'Lo out there. So again, I think this is a great spot to back LeBron's over and assists. So my 3 favorite picks of the day, you see them scrolling down below at the bottom of the screen. Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics over 22.5 points, 1 unit play, minus 105 on DraftKings. Another 1 unit on Joel Embiid of the Philadelphia 76ers over 3.5 assists at minus 110 on BetMGM, and 1 unit on the King, LeBron James of the LA Lakers over 8.5 assists, minus 120 on BetMGM. My 3 favorite picks of the day. Do you want me to talk about the other games? Fine. I will do it because I love you guys. Let's talk about these other games. You certainly can exit off the video. Indiana versus the Miami Heat. I don't know if Jimmy Butler plays here. I honestly don't love this matchup. I looked at Halliburton over in assists. I think it was dropped to 7.5 now at minus 145. I'd probably take a 7.5. I don't hate that. You've seen him against the Heat, 8 and 13. Not his best matchup. Well, good matchup for assists. I don't hate that matchup there. If I'm going to move on to another game, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, really not a game I want to get there. I honestly kind of like fading Dame here. I don't mind it. Bad matchup here. I kind of looked at backing Cam Thomas, return last game, 6 for 18. D'Lo is now in the lineup, so we'll see exactly what goes down. I really didn't want to get involved there. That's like a 14-point spread here. And then the last game I haven't talked about was LA versus OKC. Really not a lot I love here. Obviously, there's going to be everyone and the mother on James Harden's under. I don't hate that one at all. I just don't really want to get involved in this game. So again, there's a reason I avoided those games. Just not a lot of confidence there. I really like our 3 picks we got. Let's go 3-0. If you want to go check out our thoughts on the college football game that was postponed to today, all my thoughts and prayers go out to the people in New Orleans. That was a scary situation there. I have a friend that lives in New Orleans. He said it was pretty crazy. So again, thoughts and prayers out to those people. However, that college football game was postponed to today. If you want to go check out our thoughts, I'll link that video here. That video is timestamped, so you don't have to listen to us talk about the other 3 games. Just skip forward to that game in that video. Again, have a great Thursday. Good luck on all your picks. Let's go 3-0, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with the brooms out. Peace.